welcome to this evening session of love, peace, and compassion, and an offering of a compassionate ear for those who wish to alleviate suffering. And this gathering is designed, and the intention is to bring resonance to peace, love, and compassion, and also to offer wisdom to any impersonal inquiries. And that includes those that are watching who would like to leave tidbits of wisdom in the comment section. I will offer any bits of wisdom with compassion. There is intelligence, spontaneous creativity, simultaneous unconditional love, which can come forth from anywhere at any time, although it in and of itself is timeless. Therefore, it will always be offered now, and it will always be offered here, because it is infinitely accessible. There is no other now. There is no other here. That is the unity and the oneness of all things, without separation. Even the here and the now are unified as this current, as consciousness being aware of this current experience. And I see Amy is joined. Welcome, Amy, to this expression of peace, love, and compassion. And specifically today, I will recognize the hello, Edward, as well. I would like to recognize the suffering that is being shared primarily nationwide and also worldwide via the Me Too hashtag, both on Facebook and Twitter and other social media outlets. It's beautiful that it's an outlet, that you can call such a thing an outlet, especially with the Me Too outlet, in which primarily women are expressing their history with sexual assault, exploitation, and those experiences, and how they have been dormant for so long without adequately being addressed. Now they are brought forward to be seen in the light of love. embraced by the arms of compassion, such that that aspect of the story can be alleviated and brought into the realm of peace, to be at peace with the past and one's perception of the past. And I welcome Amanda as well to this gathering of peace, love, and compassion. And the offering of a compassionate ear and the arising of wisdom, the recognition, the realization of wisdom, that which is already present in this one now and this one here. It's unified, it's the oneness, it's the singularity of the universe. And if it's infinite, it covers all dimensions, as they say. The subtle dimensions of thought, of mind, of concepts, of constructs, and the gross dimension, the physical dimension of body, planet, animals, plants. It's a transcendent energy, transcending our own imagination, transcending our own our brain's ability to actually understand it. Everything is discovered rather than invented. That's the word. We believe we invent things. Everything is already here, everything is already now, and everything is simply discovered. Even the sun discovers itself. The sun didn't invent itself. It discovered itself. The same can be said about human beings. We discover our process, that we are a process, and we discover that process as and through the awareness of self. That self being infinite, that self being loving, unconditional loving at its core, that self being fearless because the fear and the suffering are alleviated in the recognition of that infinite, unconditional love. And knowing that there is a stillness and a silence that is recognized as well. And in that silence, true silence, there is the recognition of the nameless and the realization of the nameless. I offer a blessing to all of those that have experienced sexual assault. I offer grace to all of those that have felt vulnerable because of that. A lifetime's worth of feeling vulnerable in the presence of aggressive, forward-moving violations of one's emotional and physical being. may that may grace open your heart to remember that unconditional love is invulnerable. And at the core of who you are is an invulnerable energy. So strong that it can forgive. That being said, I trust the blessing works its ways miraculously. The notions of love, peace, and compassion. Ask yourself today, have you heard those words? If it's the first time hearing them today and you're viewing this, say them out loud yourself. If there's someone around you, say it so they can hear you. And then the workings and the ripple effect will touch others. The energy behind these words, these heartfelt words, they sound beautiful in various languages. Amor, amore. I don't know what they are in other languages. Adore. Adore is another word that is often used in other languages. Say them smoothly. Say them sincerely. Say them authentically. Say them often. Simply saying them and thinking them toward everyone that you meet every day. How can I bring love that's in this heart into this circumstance? How can I bring peace that is within this heart to this circumstance? And how can I alleviate any suffering, any connection between the mind and the story? What works well is to throw out the story altogether and abide in that place consistently as much as possible. People often ask, in a separation paradigm, how do I bring this into my daily life? As if daily life is separate from life, the perfection of life. And where else does life take place other than during the day and at night? The question itself is an error when you think of it that way, as if there is a separation between what happens during the day and daily life. The only other time when we are unaware is during deep sleep. And speaking from an experiential standpoint, there is the ability to be aware even during deep sleep. To put into words is simply that. Just to be in deep sleep and to have a consciousness that's aware that this is deep sleep. And once that's experienced, once it's experienced, then it enters into the Rolodex of possibility. And again, I welcome people who are joining this gathering. Jim, welcome. I was speaking about bringing peace, love, and compassion into the daily experience. Into the daily experience. Being without separation. That's one of the main questions. How do I bring this from one place to the other, basically? From inside to outside, from within to without, from oneself to others. All of those are a paradigm of separation, as if there is a boundary between a false boundary, an illusory boundary, in which one's thoughts, words, and deeds are unable to reach. Energetically, any thought, word, or belief reaches outward into the universe and is the universe. What would bring peace and love? And then I see a question. You what would bring peace and love? I am unable to understand that exactly. So I will continue with this stream of thought that is being shared. The separation that we often think that our lives are. One, we think that it's our lives when it is life itself. And life itself is without separation. Life itself only knows itself as one thing. One could also look at that and say the planet only knows itself as one thing. The universe only knows itself as one thing. For this example, the planet only knows itself as one thing. Human beings are in error to think that we are separate from this planet, that our thoughts, words, and deeds are separate from this planet, and that the peace and love that is inherent within, or the illusion and the fears that we may act from, through thought even, are separate from its impact at all levels on human beings, plants, animals, the planet itself. So when asked, how does one exercise this in one's daily life? That is the only opportunity and the complete platform of circumstances in which it can only be done. There's no distance to take the peace. There's no distance to take the love into a daily life or a real world. How can there be a real world separate from this world? That, again, is an error of a mindset that says there's a separation somewhere, anywhere, any separation. And when asked such questions, the need for this clarification becomes very evident. Becomes very evident of the unity and the oneness of all things. Let me go back and see something. You know what? Oh, it is unnecessary to bring that which is already is, which already is. It's the realization of it. It's the realization, the shedding rather than the bringing. The shedding of the veil of fear, which reveals and illuminates the peace, love, and compassion that is inherent in all things. And if it is inherent in all things, it is inherent in you. It is inherent in the growth of a plant that is realizing itself, its true nature. It is inherent in any animal that is realizing its true nature, and it is inherent in the planet that is realizing its true nature. It is the realization of consciousness's own true nature. It is the realization of the universe itself. And I welcome Casey to this gathering of peace, love, and compassion, this sacred space of peace, love, and compassion, in which the wisdom to be shared through impersonal inquiries. This is a chance to leave the story, whether it be personal or history. History is a story, oftentimes told by a story that has specific characters from a specific location on this planet with a specific theme which will go unnamed. Yet the story is holistic, and leaving that story aside for a second, one can ask themselves, well, what remains when without a story? We are still here without a story, without the mind constantly being focused on a story, which includes the past and includes the anxiety and the wonder of what is next. The anticipation, the frustrations, even the excitement, and especially the fear. The fear attached to the story and the suffering that's attached to the story. It can be recognized for what it is, yet the constant connection with it causes more and more focus on it, more and more attention to it, rather than the attention and focus, allowing the space of love and peace to continue its natural expansion, its natural and deepening, going further and further into the infinite emptiness that is energetically providing this now and here through a conscious, aware being that's ever present in all things. And in that, one can see beauty, and gratitude, joy, appreciation, equanimity of health, equanimity of mind, balance, coordination, both in body and mind and in experience, coordination of miracles, a coordination of synchronicities, things being coordinated. Ordinated. This is ordained, ordinated, ordained, blessed with grace. And it coincides. It's simultaneous and spontaneous and coincides because it's one, it's united. The ocean must be calm in order for there to be waves. There is a great coordination in the waves. The crest and the trough. So you can ride it and flow with it. And enjoy that flow. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the flow and ride of life. Here and now. And this one here and this one now. Simple. Simple and easy. The mind wants to question and make things more complex so that it's fed, so that it enters time. And the only way that the mind and the ego can exist is by partnering with time. And wasting it. Eating it up, gobbling it up, digesting it, and then wasting it. Only to become this smelly pile of poop on the ground. And when you turn that paradigm around within one's heart, the perception is shifted. First inwardly, then outwardly, then that dualism ceases to exist, and everything is one. The perception of everything changes. And the oneness is realized. It's without becoming, because it already is. Simply the realization of it. The knowing of it. The experience of it. The acceptance of it. Of the nameless, of the formless, of the shapeless, of the colorless. That which is all things simultaneously and spontaneously. The one energy that creates all matter. creates life, that creates light, the infinite opportunity to love unconditionally. Such a blessed gift, such a blessed grace. Again, if someone has entered this space and is hearing the words love and peace, I invite you, if you're watching and someone new is there, to say the words. Tell someone, I offer you much love and peace. If someone's in your presence right now, and those words are uplifting, and if you're able to say them in another language other than English and they sound smooth, say it in that language as well. Again, the greatest thing that vulnerability teaches us is that we are inherently invulnerable. The greatest thing that vulnerability can teach us is that inherently we are invulnerable. Our spirit is invulnerable. It is the illusion of personhood that causes the belief of vulnerability. Stand strong, stand with integrity, stand with dignity, knowing that at one's core there is only the invulnerable peace and love that is unmovable and unshakable. If there are any inquiries that are impersonal, I'm more than happy to offer any wisdom, or for those that simply want to experience this gathering, this opportunity to experientially be in a quiet, silent, smooth, and peaceful, joyous atmosphere. Remain and be that. Know that that is infinitely accessible, because the infinite exists by its own nature as such. its very purpose is to exist as such. It keeps form intact. It creates it and keeps it intact to know itself. Spontaneously and simultaneously creative. In all its infinite forms. Forms including dimensional forms, dreams, deep sleep, waking state, all the forms, human form, animal form, photons, neutrons, electrons, galaxies, dark matter, dark space, all its forms. With that, one can see beauty in anything. In this moment, I offer silence and simply be. And being. To feel the presence of being. The infinite presence of being. The infinite presence of unconditional love. The infinite presence of peace. The words peace and love can be underlined with a pen that says gratitude on it. Because gratitude for that peace and gratitude for that love helps it to appreciate, to grow. In the same way that when you value something, it's appreciated. The flow and the currency of it strengthens. So that all things become effortless through the revelation of the offering. rather than needing to go out and grasp the gift is offered when it is needed, because that is the nature of the now, and that is the nature of the here. And the blessing, be that light, be that voice. Offer it upon those around you, family, friends, anyone. It being unconditional. Drop the story, even of family and friends. That too is part of the story. And allow the light to shine on everyone and everything. Without expectation, because one never knows where unconditional love will land, which heart it will touch, which mind and suffering it will release. You never know. And one may ask, do you need to know? With such a strong intention, you can always ask, well, where is this unconditional love going? It's unconditional, so it's going everywhere. And it is everywhere. I trust these words are taking root within, and that the seed continues to grow deeply. It becomes the core, the center of one's own gravity. In a way that magic becomes so consistent that it's unbearable. Allah Bilang Kundera, the unbearable lightness of being. Your being becomes so light that it's unbearable. And then there's the assimilation of it through the shift in perception. it becomes assimilated through the shedding of thoughts, and it arises from within. So that the daily, habitual actions are only those of peace, love, and compassion. That becomes noticed. Without effort, simply sitting in a restaurant, sitting on a bench, walking down the street, grocery shopping. You can even be peacefully eating or stuffing your face with some odd cuisine, and if that peace and love is there, you may make eye contact with someone and they can see that. And for that moment, there is, in that connection, there is joy, unspeakable joy, without the need to be spoken. There is the connection that's made, a peaceful, loving connection. This joy is wondrous. This joy is beautiful. This joy is infinite. This joy is all-pervading. This joy is you. Dear friend, this joy is you. Let the light shine. And when fear attempts to cloud it, the fear itself will drop away. It too shall pass, and that which remains will always remain. The unchanging, the unchangeable, the infinite energy of peace, love, and compassion arising out of the infinite awareness, the infinite emptiness. The unified emptiness, without limit, without borders, unconstrained, unimaginable, miraculous, beautiful. For those present, there is gratitude. Gathered by the spontaneity and simultaneous ability of consciousness to actually provide this opportunity to be gathered and to bring forth together that which is peace and love. Simply being in the presence of it works wonders unimaginable. If they're unimaginable, why contemplate all of it? Yes, do what's needed and apply that. Yet know that the unimaginable far exceeds that which can be imagined. The mind, being limited, can only imagine so much. And that is why all invention is simply discovery of that which is. Hmm. 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 If there are any impersonal inquiries, and if I see them on the comments, I was looking at some of the comments when they were posted after the end, and then I realized that not all the comments come through on the live feed. So if I see it and it's an impersonal inquiry, wisdom shall be shared. If needed, it's simply an offering, as all things are. It's a constant energy offering up infinite potential to say, do as you will. And all throughout that, I will still love you unconditionally. Because I know at the core of I am, of beingness, all is happening. And to alleviate suffering. Set aside the story of anything other than knowing yourself as infinite, unconditional love. Hmm? I bring this to you all in the name of compassion. I bring this to you all. Incredibly grateful to do so. Incredibly grateful. This is what this life is for. This body, this mind, these words, as a lifelong endeavor to bring awareness to compassion. And that's it. It is rooted in peace, in the form of love.